SSDs to dedupe, cloud storage, we're covering it. With a special edition from Storage Networking World in Orlando, Florida. 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Hey now, how's everybody doing?
We're all really well, thank you.
So we're here to have a discussion on cloud storage, the future of cloud, what we're doing now, that sort of thing. How about if we quickly just go down the line, everybody says what they're doing and give us a little background on themselves.
Okay, hi, I'm Greg Kleiman with Netapp. I'm the Director of our Cloud Solutions. And we're here really to enable everybody else in the line here. We just provide the storage and they provide the services. Eran Farajun with Asigra, an EVP there, been there with 15 years. Asigra is a software company. It enables cloud backup services.
Rooke from JumpPoint, a Toronto-based company that focuses on system integration services. Historically, we were providing and designing storage infrastructures for a lot of organizations. Saw an opportunity to jump into the cloud space and increase our portfolio of managed service offerings, and have now been delivering remote backup solutions for the last 5 months.
Hey Mark, he's Canadian, so it's A now, not hey now.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hey now.
I'm Daniel MIlburn with Consonus. We've been around for about 20 years. Started in infrastructure as an integrator as well. Did some consulting, but moving into the cloud space. We have a number of cloud solutions that we offer around archiving and backup and infrastructure as a service.
So what kinds of services are people looking to buy today in the cloud?
Okay, I'd start. You have different types of customers and they look to buy different types of services because they have different needs. From small customers, they want to, the ones that we're and our partner community are seeing, they want to offload a lot of their backup and recovery management and operations. They just recognize that they suck at it and they just want somebody else to do it because they know they're not really doing a good job. And then you have medium to larger companies, and they may also have similar needs in the sense of it's not a core function for them. They want to offload that backup and recovery responsibility. But they may not necessarily always be looking at public clouds, meaning sending their data to a service provider. They may also be looking at doing private clouds or even hybrid clouds. Private clouds meaning they own the entire infrastructure. Hybrid clouds is a combination thereof. So they look for different, as it relates to cloud backup services.
Well, you get involved with some pretty big accounts, don't you?
We do. We have large, giant global organizations that use our technology to protect their data, all the way down to mid-market, a couple of $100 million size companies.
So in these gigantic companies, what are you seeing? What are you seeing their interest in the cloud, or what are they doing?
So their interest in the clouds, if their interest is in a public cloud, it's really to protect various things like laptops or remote sites that their central IT departments are having a tough time grappling with. They can do stuff in their data centers very well, but when it comes out of the data center, they kind of suffer and they don't do such a good job because it's beyond their control.
Yeah, it's hard. How about you, Brad? You've been offering services, cloud services, for you said about 5 months or so.
Yep, we just actually launched in just prior to January, and we're seeing a lot of traction actually happen. When you take a look at remote backup, for instance, it's not really looked upon as a very strategic initiative. So it's certainly something that everybody's got to do, especially if they have to do a restoration. So any way that IT department can start outsourcing and offsetting their teams to actually work with an outsourcing company that can provide that service is going to have huge dividends for themselves. So we've certainly been seeing some traction in that space.
Yeah.
One of the things that Eran mentioned was the hybrid cloud option, and we see a lot of our particularly larger accounts that will do an in-house solution, net backup or whatever, but they do need help in those remote sites, so we'll actually do a managed version of that main site, central site net backup solution, for example, and then we'll deploy RBS or remote backup services to all their remote offices. So they can still provide that sort of outsource or cloud-based model for purchasing on a monthly basis or whatever, but it's that hybrid approach, and a lot of our customers really love that. It's for sure our fastest growing business. And I would say right behind backups is infrastructure as a service in terms of demand.
That's interesting. I think that's a good question, right? So it sounds like early on, at least, people are looking or implementing backup to remote sites, which is not such a far stretch, really, from other things that they've done. So, what kinds of things do your customers look at, or you expect to provide for customers, say, 18 months out, 24 months out, something like that?
Yeah, I guess I can give an industry perspective to start with. When we out talking to our enterprise customers and about cloud and what they want from service providers, they are starting with the obvious, the easy stuff like backup, DR, and then they're looking for help from a lot of the folks here to help them bridge that gap and start to look at more enterprise apps like infrastructure as a service, or even maybe hosting some apps outside their firewall. But they usually start with this low-hanging fruit and then evolve.
Backup is really kind of one of the first steps that they take when they look to leverage cloud. I think generally they're looking to get informed. They're looking for people to explain things to them as it relates to how do I transition myself from the current era or the last era of computing that we were just in, the kind of client-server distributed computing era. They got into that era from the mainframe centralized computing era, and right now we're in this transition, 5 to 7 year phase where we're going into the cloud computing era. So they're trying to learn and find out. Today, basically, it's just like it was in the early 80s when people never heard of Novell or they never heard of NetBEUI, and everybody thought everything was only in the data center and in the glass house. And now, it took about 5-7 years for people to realize there were these LANs and you can kind of do things remotely. And so we're now in that same time period. It'll take about 5-7 years for cloud computing to become the dominant way that people do. I think the admins and the IT professionals also need to change. So they're looking for information, help, guidance, assistance, and also some clarity, I think, as well.
Yeah, so Brad, you're obviously a bit of a forward-thinking guy. You figured out rolling out cloud services. You got that going. You've done backup. What do you see changing?
Well, first off, I see the behavior of the end users changing, because one of the driving mechanisms associated with cloud being embraced is the whole fact that the paradigm shift has happened in regards to buying habits. So a lot more people are taking a look at OPEX budgets instead of traditional CAPEX budgets. And that's been, I think, one of the keys in regards to the IT recession and coming out of it that we're going to start to see. Is a lot of organizations have been looking internally and saying, hey, what are some of the areas that we could actually outsource without having to build our own infrastructures or building our own staffing architectures to go support. So as a result, I think that's going to be embraced, and the benefit in the marketplace is that there's going to be a lot more application providers, infrastructure, cloud plays that people are going to start to embrace. So I think that virtual desktop, virtualization is certainly going to be a big play.
Do you think people will do virtual desktop through the cloud?
I certainly see that down the road.
Interesting.
Already doing it.
Some are already doing it. We have several large customers that are already outsourcing their desktops.
Outsourcing desktops into the cloud. Interesting.
By the thousands.
It makes sense because you can scale much faster, obviously, and you've got global accessibility.
Yeah, but you've got things like booting up a lot of machines all of a sudden over the cloud.
That's actually an area where Netapp helps a lot. With our FlexCone technology, we're able to boot up literally thousands of desktops at the same time, instantaneously.
So, Daniel, when Brad was talking about especially the acquisition model, I saw you nodding your head. What kinds of things do you expect to be changing in the way that you price services or offer services to make them more, if you will, cloud-like?
Sure. Well, one of the things that happened with the downturn is lack of access to capital. I'm sure a lot of companies are dealing with that, right? So one of the ways to combat that is, instead of coming up with the big upfront capital expenditures that are required, you can pay a monthly fee or on a monthly basis for really an enterprise level solution. So you don't have to piecemeal something together that you can barely afford and have it not really have the functionality that you desire. You could go out and buy the best of breed Cadillac offering and just pay monthly by the slice. And a lot of companies are looking to that direction to relieve capital purchase burdens.